Licensed video games. They get a bad rap, don't they? Which isn't terribly surprising since most of them are rushed out the door as soon as possible to capitalize on some popular IP. Just throw together a barely functional game, slap a recognizable face on there, and it'll sell on name alone. But that's not always the case. Hello! My name is Rocket, and I'm on a quest to find those rare licensed games that go above and beyond their bargain bin brethren. The games that deliver not only a solid experience, but also capture the spirit of the show it's based on. Essentially, there are three main things I'm looking for. 1, does the game feel like the source material? 2, does it appeal to fans? And 3, how does it stand on its own? And I figured there is no better place to start than SpongeBob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom. Originally released in 2003, this 3D platformer was well received enough to get an HD remake in 2020. So clearly it did something right. Let's not waste any more time and dive in, shall we? And our story begins with SpongeBob and Patrick wrapping up another rousing round of robots and racehorses. While enjoyable, they start to wonder how much more fun it would be to have actual robots to play with instead of just these small toys. Patrick thinks it's the brilliant idea to invoke dark magic and witchcraft and call upon his trusty magic wishing shell to conjure up some real robots. As one does. Simply place your sacrifice into the almighty conch and speak the magic words, and presto! The next morning your wish will come true. The very next day, SpongeBob wakes up to see his home in ruins. The culprit? None other than a horde of evil robots that mysteriously appeared overnight. I guess Patrick didn't specify the robots not be evil, so they start wreaking havoc upon Bikini Bottom. Stupid monkey paw-esque wishing shell. Now it's up to SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy, for some reason, to stop these evil robots from destroying the town. How exactly? Simple. By collecting golden spatulas to open up the various areas of Bikini Bottom, and eventually the robot's lair, coincidentally located in the chum bucket. I'm sure that's nothing to worry about. To get these golden spatulas, you must clear challenges and help out the various residents of Bikini Bottom. Now, why exactly are golden spatulas the key to all of this? Well...
because, SpongeBob!
Golden spatulas can be found within the many areas of Bikini Bottom, with each level hiding 8 spatulas to collect. Upon entering a new level for the first time, you often run into someone who gives you a task to accomplish, which will set you on your way for exploring the stage. You'll also often find random fish within the world just hanging out. If they aren't being terrorized by robots, that is. Each level is separated into 3 different hubs. You gain access to more of Bikini Bottom as you open up these toll booths. For instance, the first level, Jellyfish Fields, your main goal is to help Squidward recover from his jellyfish stings by obtaining some royal jam from the king jellyfish on top of Spork Mountain. Along the way, you'll encounter other familiar faces like Plankton and Mermaid Man, who doesn't sound quite right.
Huh? What? Oh, yeah.
You'll also find Patrick, who you'll need to save from robots, after which you can play as him. Remember this for later. Once you've made it to the top, you'll have a boss battle against the king, followed by a slide down the mountain. Overall, not a bad start. The next level is downtown Bikini Bottom, where you'll find Mrs. Puff, who asks for help vacuuming the citizens.
Not vacuum, evacuate.
I mean evacuating the citizens. In order to do so, you'll need to recover the steering wheels that the robot stole. Instead of this being a straight shot like your last level, this time you've got a central area connected to a few smaller ones to search through, with their own mission to complete. Eventually, you'll come across Gary, who explains that SpongeBob isn't capable of clearing the dangerous platforming on the rooftops. In order to progress, you'll need the help of the one and only Sandy Cheeks the Squirrel. You'd think that you'd have to go and find her and help her out or something before she'll become playable, similar to Patrick in the last level. Nope, just use the bus stop and she's playable. No introduction or anything. Seriously, why is she here? The final level in the first hub is Ghoul Lagoon, the place where there is water. Underwater. I try not to think about it. While you're here, you'll run into Larry, who seems to be a little bit more red than usual. Turns out a robot has stolen all of the sunscreen. In order to beat him and recover them, you'll need to use these towers to reflect light and create a solar laser beam, causing him to explode. Because science. Or you can ignore all that and help out Mr. Krabs by playing some minigames, like Skee-Ball. Once you've had your fill of exploring and collected enough golden spatulas, it's time to move on and take on one of the commanders of the robot army.
A huge murderous robot shaped like a squirrel!
AKA Robo Sandy. There are 3 phases to this fight. You'll attack between SpongeBob, Patrick, and SpongeBob again for each one. I guess Sandy has more important things to worry about than a Robo doppelganger. Simply avoid her attacks and wait for an opening and the fight will be over before you know it. Now that you've paid the toll and bested Robo Sandy, it's onward to the next part of Bikini Bottom. There are now 3 more levels to explore, but before that, it looks like Sandy needs some help. Looks like a group of robots are running amok in her tree dome, and since it's our fault for causing this, it's up to us to fix it. Now, just a little thought. I wonder if the original idea was to have Sandy be unlocked here. It explained her lack of introduction and why she wasn't in the previous boss fight. Anyway, just destroy the robots before you die from oxygen or whatever. Our first level proper in the new hub can be found in the Sandy Shores retirement home, where Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy reside. They need some help fixing the TV and also cleaning out the Murmur of robots. They would handle it themselves, but it's a Thursday, so they've got a bunch of doctor appointments to get to. As you make your way through the Murmur, you'll reset the defense systems, deal with this darn ball puzzle, and thwart the escape attempts of Mermaid Man's arch nemesis, the nefarious Prawn. All in a day's work for the Super Sponge. Once you've finished up there, it's time to hit up Sand Mountain, which is a nice change of pace compared to the other levels. Squidward is here just trying to relax, but those annoying robots have taken over. So it's time to hit up the slopes and take them out, while also trying to beat the best times of Mrs. Puff, Bubble Buddy, and Larry while you're at it. Up next is the creepy locale of Rock Bottom. There's an eerie feeling in the air. Things don't look right down here. Just look at these fish. For some reason, Mrs. Puff is down here and once again is asking for help to recover some missing items. This time around, it's art stolen from the museum. By who? You already know the answer to that. Now, why does she want you to return the art to her instead of the museum directly?
Don't ask questions you aren't prepared to handle the answer to.
After a little bit of exploring, you'll get to enter the museum, which has unsurprisingly been taken over by the robot, who just figured out how to activate the defense systems. Now, this wouldn't be a video game without an arbitrary stealth section now, would it? Looks like you'll need to channel your inner Sly Cooper to sneak your way to the end. Or just do Sandy. Once you've collected enough spatulas, it's time to head down to the park.
The industrial park!
Once you get there, you'll have to fight against Robo Patrick. You'll need to do your best to avoid his ice cream attacks. You wouldn't want to end up like poor Squidward over there. This time around, you get to use SpongeBob and Sandy to take him down. Just make sure to be careful as you swing around the arena. It gets pretty technical. Best to be careful not to fall into the toxic waste below. Well, looks like we finally made it to the chum bucket. It's time to stop these robots once and for all. Wait a minute. Looks like we're gonna need a few more golden spatulas before we go on. Well, since we came all this way, might as well stop by the Krusty Krab.
Oh no!
Looks like the robots took over here too. Mr. Krab seems pretty upset about getting kicked out. He'll roll you a nice golden spatula when you manage to clear him out. Next up is the Kelp Forest, which is by far one of my least favorite levels. Pretty easy to get lost around here. Where's that magic conch shell when you need it? As you make your way through the forest, you'll come across Mrs. Puff once again. Seems like she is everywhere. She needs some more help. Turns out the other campers got scared off by the robots, so you'll need to track them down and help them get back to camp safely. After escaping the Kelp Forest, the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard is up next. And as you expect, you run into the one and only Flying Dutchman.
Oh, yes.
He offers to give you a golden spatula if you're able to reclaim his shit from the robots. Along the way, you'll have to move around these pillars and eventually you'll run into Squidward, who points you on the right path to reach another platinum whisk. I mean golden spatula. Now, you may think you're in the clear after you get the Flying Dutchman's ship back, but he isn't someone you can trust. He plans to keep the spatula for himself. You'll need to beat him up in order to reclaim your rightful prize. Now, before heading off to that final battle, it looks like SpongeBob is going to need to take a break before going on.
At least I'm safe inside my mind.
However, it seems not even in your dreams are you safe from this robot invasion, as they have even found a way to take over SpongeBob's own dream. You'll need to go even deeper to combat these foes. Not only do you need to clean up SpongeBob's dream, but you'll have to help clear out Sandy's, Mr. Krabs, Squidward's, and even Patrick's dreams. With all this being a dream, just about anything can happen. Giant acorns, piles of money, terrible platforming, and nothing at all can be found here. After collecting a whopping 75 golden spatulas, you can finally make your way to the robot headquarters, the Chum Bucket. Turns out Patrick's cursed conch wasn't the cause of all of this, but instead it was the work of Plankton and its latest plot to steal the Krabby Patty formula.
Yes, it was me all the time!
He, however, made one tiny little mistake. He forgot to set the robots to obey. In his place, a Robo-Plankton has taken over and is getting tired of the crew's efforts to stop him. In order to save the rest of Bikini Bottom, you'll need to beat the last of the commanders. Robot Bob Sponge Shift Pants. That big guy over there. Do your best to sock it to them and dodge their incoming attacks. And after a few well-placed bubble missiles, Bob Robo Pants goes down. But it's not over yet. You'll have to chase after Robo Plankton and put a stop to his plans. Something about this seems familiar. After taking down the machine from the inside, Robo Plankton's plans are foiled, and we have saved the day. Yay! There is only one tiny little detail we may have missed. There is still a lot of robots running around, so better get to collecting the rest of the golden spatulas. Once you have managed to collect all 100 of those spatulas, you are rewarded with a short video of the cast singing the opening song. That's it. Now, if you thought it was all over after that, you would be mistaken. Included in the Rehydrated Edition is a new multiplayer mode where you and a friend take on a giant Robo Squidward and his wave of robot minions. He was planned to be in the original, but got cut. Sounds pretty cool, right? Lost content being added, and it's co-op with multiple characters not playable in the main game, and it's even online? Must be fun!
Wrong!
The battles take place on a string of islands, connected by various bits of debris. Every fight is the same thing. Robots swarm in, you beat them up, and a few other waves come, and then you move on to the next island. Over, and over, and over again. SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom was overall a nice surprise. More often than not, when a game is based off an already existing show or movie, it normally falls flat. Just how like most movies based on video games are normally bad. Looking at you, Super Mario Bros. Battle for Bikini Bottom, on the other hand, was an overall good time. It's definitely not the greatest game around, and it has its flaws, but it was at least an entertaining game to play all the way through. They managed to capture the charm of SpongeBob, and it works well as an extension of the show in some regards. It gives you an opportunity to go out and explore Bikini Bottom on your own. Now, to finish things up for today, let's go back to my 3 points from earlier. Does the game feel like the source material? Yes! You might think at first that a robot invasion would be a bit of a stretch, but there are a surprisingly large amount of robots within SpongeBob. It was kind of a shame that there wasn't a Robo Mr. Krabs anywhere though.
Ravioli, ravioli, give me the formuoli.
How does it appeal to fans of the original? Well, with all the references and Easter eggs that tie back to the show, any fan of SpongeBob would be entertained. If you are a fan, what was your favorite reference? How does it stand on its own? Well, this being a mid-2000s 3D collectathon platformer, which was a fairly common sight back then, it doesn't really do anything crazy or unique for the genre, but it does prove to be worth the time to play it. I found myself overall quite enjoying this short little adventure, and I'd recommend if you have some free time to be sure to check this one out. Just make sure to stay clear of the multiplayer mode. Now, I'm sure there are plenty of other licensed games out there that have turned out to be pretty good, and hopefully I can find some more gems. Join me as I continue to seek out and find these kind of games, and if you have any recommendations, please comment down below. Thank you for watching and have a great day!